Well, recently I was talking with several priests, and the topic about whether they could stay in their current parish or have to begin at a new parish came up. By the way, it's none of the priests that you know from here, so they're off the hook on this story. Two of the priests are in their mid to late 60s, and they reasoned that beginning anew would not be easy for them and perhaps not good for the parishes involved. Well, only God knows how any of their or our stories will emerge. However, this conversation added context to our first reading. The first reading where the Lord sends Abram to a new land, leaving the land of his people, the family home, and on top of that, having to convince his wife, his brother's son, and all the people in their household to pack up their possessions and go. Now, whether you are a priest, married, or single, preparing and moving to a new place, in this case, to one that Abram had never seen, is never easy. We know that from experience, right? And to compound things, Abram is 75 years old. He's older than my friends. And I also think that if the Archbishop gets any resistance from any of these priests, including myself, he might be tempted to cite the passage from today. For in it, Abram is obedient and trusting in God, believing that it's part of the mission that God has in store for him, one that will benefit not only the people of Abram's time, but for generations to come. For us, people right here, to become like Abram, we need to incorporate the same level of discernment that Jesus is putting forth to his disciples in today's gospel, which begins with the bottom line: stop judging that you may not be judged. Doesn't mess around, he gets right to the point. And of course, everyone's favorite, including mine, how can you say to your brother, let me take that splinter out of your eye, with this big wooden beam is in our own eyes? Well, in order for us to be able to know whether we're being judgmental and the size of the wood in our metaphorical eyes, we need to do some soul searching every day to be able to give an honest assessment of what may get in the way of our openness to God leading us in directions and service that might not have been in our 5 or 10-year plans. You know, when Abram and his family and people, carrying all their possessions, arrived in Canaan, they passed through all the way to the sacred place of Shechem. And it was there that the Lord appeared to him. He identified the land, and he promised it to Abram's descendants. How did Abram respond? He built an altar to the Lord. And the same was true in the hill country where he traveled to later. Abram trusted God, and he went where he directed him, and the Lord was with him, just as he is with each of us. Whether we live our whole lives in our family homes or have many homes and cities that we live in, Abram's response to God is what we are called to do. Whether the Lord calls us to go to another place, serve in a vocation we might not have anticipated, or acquire new ways of thinking and acting that we never thought was possible. And it is with each leap of faith that the Lord leads us on, like Abram, mindful of the times that we have said yes to God. When we do this, we give him praise, as we do in this chapel and at this altar, for all that he has called us to, including at times changing our plans to something more important that God has in mind.